They weren't supposed to win. They were debutantes, facing the reigning kings of African basketball. Petro de Luanda, giants of the continent, undefeated in playoffs. But what happens when belief meets destiny? In just 40 minutes, a Libyan underdog rewrote BL history. Final score: Al Ahly 88, Petro 67. This is how they shocked Africa. Welcome to the 2025 BL final story. June 14, 2025. Sunbet Arena, Pretoria. The Kings arrived. Petro players high-fiving, confident warm-ups, flashes of their 2024 trophy. The defending champions. Petro de Luanda. Unbeaten. Untouchable. Until now. Ahli Tripoli's tunnel. Focus on Fabian White Jr. tying his shoe, sweat dripping. Then Caleb Agada locking eyes on the court. On the other end, the challengers. Ahli Tripoli. No titles. No expectations. Just hunger. Libya map pulsing, slow-motion fan faces painted with Libyan flags. A team that came from the shadows to shock an entire continent. First quarter, Fabian White Jr. spins and slams a dunk, crowd erupts. Boise drains a three-pointer. Petro players argue. Al Ahly bench explodes. They didn't flinch. They didn't fade. They took the crown, one quarter at a time. Libyan supporters jumping, chanting Ahly, Ahly. Arena shaking. This wasn't just a game. This was a nation's rise. A power shift. A historic rebellion on hardwood. Scoreboard shows 88-67. Al Ahly players collapse in tears. Confetti falls. 88-67. 21 points of destiny. A final nobody predicted. A win nobody will forget. BAL 2025, the day Al Ahly made history. This is how Libya conquered the BAL. From BAL 2021-2024 finals, Petro lifting their 2024 trophy, dominating. For years, Petro de Luanda had been building a dynasty, the Angolan giants, kings of the court. Petro's 2025 season. Fast breaks, high fives, a coach's intense speech in practice. Coming into 2025, they looked even stronger. 5 straight wins. Highest scoring offense. Everyone thought the crown would stay in Luanda. Overlay graphic. Petro 96.6 ppg 5-0 record pre-final. Al Ahly Tripoli, humble locker rooms, gritty road games, Libyan fans cheering with drums in Dakar, Kigali, Pretoria. But in Tripoli, a different kind of story was brewing. A team with no legacy, no spotlight, but a dream too loud to ignore. Al Ahly's rise in group stage. Big win vs Rivers Hoopers, clutch three-pointer vs US Monastir. From close wins to stunning upsets, they marched through the Sahara Conference. One win at a time, they grew stronger. Al Ahly Tripoli 4-1 Sahara Conference runners-up. Show April, Rwanda, pushing Al Ahly in semifinals. Then Al Ahly pulling away with smart defense and fast breaks. In the semifinals, they silenced a home crowd in Kigali and booked their place in history. Petro's precision drills vs Al Ahly's emotional locker room speech. One team fought for legacy. The other, for pride. For a nation barely seen on the continental basketball map. Libyan flag waving. Petro fans holding back-to-back champs banners. Pretoria. June 14th. The final day. The world expected a repeat. But Libya brought resistance. And then, the ball was tossed. And history began. First half breakdown. How Al Ahly Tripoli dismantled the champions, one quarter at a time. Wide shot of the tip-off. The ball goes up. Players explode off the line. From the very first possession, it was clear. This wasn't going to be easy for Petro. Al Ahly runs a perfect pick and roll, Agada to White Jr. Slam dunk. Fabian White Jr. came out swinging 12 points in the first quarter alone. The paint was his territory. No visitors allowed. Replay of 2 blocks back-to-back by White Jr. crowd erupts. Petro's Gardner hits a three-pointer, tries to rally. Petro tried to counter. But every time they surged, Al Ahly punched back harder. Q1 score Al Ahly 27, Petro 19. Second quarter. Boise hits a deep three, followed by a coast-to-coast layup from Agada. Boise's handles. Agada's hustle. They turned defense into fireworks. Agada steals midcourt, dishes no-look to Trawley for an easy finish. Petro's offense slows missed mid-range jumper. Travel call, turnover. Meanwhile, Petro crumbled. 5 turnovers in the second quarter. No rhythm, no response. Turnovers Petro 9 Al Ahli 3. Al Ahli's bench players rise. Jabater nails a tough fadeaway. Even the bench showed up. Tripoli's unity was unmatched. Their energy, unshakable. Crowd chants Ali, Ali, echo as players high-five on the sideline. Defensive wall. Al Ahli in a perfect 2-3 zone, forcing Petro to shoot deep. Their defense wasn't just reactive, it was poetry in motion. Rotations sharp. Hands up. Eyes locked. Petro's desperation shot clocks out. Buzzer sounds. Halftime score build-up. Final seconds of second quarter. Al Ahli scores in transition. Buzzer beater layup. As the halftime buzzer echoed, the scoreboard told a story, and it didn't favor the favorites. Halftime Al Ahli 47 Petro 35. Up by 12. 40 minutes away from rewriting history. Petro frustrated, Al Ahli focused. Spotlighting the 2 key players and the coach who engineered the upset. The Warriors behind the win. How Fabian White Jr., Caleb Agada, and coach Amer Mizian became legends in 40 minutes. Close-up of Fabian White Jr. at warm-up, focused, stretching, blocking out noise. They called him a role player, until Pretoria. Fabian White Jr., the paint king. White Jr. spins baseline, double pumps through contact, slams it in. Bench erupts. 26 points. 10 rebounds. 3 blocks. From tip-off to final buzzer, Fabian White Jr. owned the lane like it was royal property. Fabian White Jr. 26 points, 10 REB, 3 BLK, 58% FG. Denies Petro's big man at the rim, flexes to the crowd. White Jr. huddling with teammates mid-game, shouting "We're not done." He wasn't just scoring. He was leading, talking, commanding. His energy lit a fire that Petro couldn't put out. Caleb Agada, the engine of chaos. Agada with a steal at midcourt. Fast break finish. Then next play, assist to Boise. And then there was Caleb Agada, the heartbeat. The disruptor. The spark that never stopped flickering. Side angle replay of Agada diving for a loose ball, fist pumping after winning it. Caleb Agada, 18 points, 6 AST, 3 STL, 2 TO. Agada pulls teammates in before a free throw. Breathe. Control the game. When Petro tried to regroup, he dismantled them. With vision, with steals, with relentless pressure. Coach Amer Mizian, the mastermind. Coach Mizian on the sideline, pacing with intensity, drawing plays, shouting zone. Zone. Behind the brilliance on the floor was a silent assassin on the bench. Coach Amer Mizian. Calm. Calculated. Brave. Locker room flashback. Coach Mizian says, "We didn't come here to compete. We came here to change everything." He didn't just coach a game. He wrote a legacy on South African hardwood for all of Libya to see. Turning point. When the fire ignited, and Petro started to burn from within. Early third quarter. Petro hits a quick jumper. Score cut to single digits. Crowd leans in. Petro came out of halftime swinging. A quick 6-0 run. The lead dropped to 6. The storm was coming. Sudden silence, then, Boise catches, hesitates, shoots from deep, splash. But then came Boise. Ice in his veins. Fire in his heart. 1-3, then another. He wasn't just scoring, he was slicing confidence. Chris Boise 11 points in 4 minutes, 3/3 3 points. Petro's unraveling. Petro misses a floater, then an offensive foul. Confusion among teammates. Frustration grows. That's when Petro started to crack. Their shots got rushed. Their passes got sloppy. Their body language told the truth. Momentum shift. Back-to-back sequences. White Jr. with a huge block. Agada grabs the ball, zips to Boise, another three-pointer. Bench erupts. And in just 1 minute, everything changed. The crowd became Tripoli. The court tilted. The Kings had lost control. Third quarter run, Al Ahly 17, Petro 4-inch. Petro's coach yelling from sideline. Petro captain slams the floor in frustration. No matter what they tried, the tide wouldn't turn. Al Ahly wasn't just winning. They were rewriting a final. And just like that, the final 10 minutes would be Petro's last stand, or Al Ahly's coronation. Basketball is emotion. The game pulsed far beyond the court. Wide pan across the Sunbet Arena, packed to the rafters. Flags wave. Tension rises. By the final quarter, the arena was no longer neutral. Something electric filled the air. Libyan fans. Ahly. Ahly. Libyan fans in white and green, draped in flags, chanting in Arabic. Kids on shoulders. Drums pounding. Libyan supporters outnumbered but not outvoiced turned Pretoria into Tripoli South. One fan tears up after a Boise three-pointer. Another jumps over the barrier waving a Libyan scarf. They didn't just witness history. They sang it into existence. Chants rise. Ahly. 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 Petro fans stunned. Petro section faces frozen. One fan bites a scarf, another sits in silence, hands on head. On the other side, disbelief. The champions, watching the crown slip, second by second. Coach gestures in frustration. Petro fans look away from the court. United in the moment. Fans from Rwanda, Senegal, Egypt cheer for both sides. Some film with phones, others chant in harmony. This wasn't just Tripoli versus Luanda. It became Africa versus the odds. A continental celebration of resilience. South African boy wearing an Al Ahly jersey, dancing between quarters. Crowd rises in unison after another White Jr. dunk. Noise peaks. People hug, scream, cry. The players were on fire, but it was the fans who turned the flame into a wildfire. With 10 minutes left, the crowd wasn't watching history. They were history. Final quarter and celebration. It wasn't just a win. It was a revolution. For Libya. For basketball. For belief. The final push. Clock shows 6:32 left. Al Ahly up by 15. Petro presses full court. Agada breaks through. Kicks to Boise splash. Petro pushed. Pressed. Prayed. But Al Ahly didn't flinch. They answered every question, with a bucket. White Jr. spins baseline and dunks. Al Ahly 86. Petro 65. Final minute. Fans stand. Libyan bench holds hands, ready to explode. As the seconds drained, the sound swelled. Libya stood on the edge of something unthinkable, yet undeniable. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. A team many dismissed had just dismantled a dynasty. Final score graphic. Al Ahly 88 to 67 Petro. Bench clears. Tears. Hugs. Roars. On-court celebration. Boise climbs the scorer's table, waving the Libyan flag. Agada on his knees, overwhelmed. Coach Mizian lifts his hand skyward. This wasn't just a game won. It was a dream reclaimed. For the players, the fans, and for every underdog. The trophy ceremony. Stage set. Confederation official hands the golden BAL trophy to White Jr. and Mizian. For the first time ever, Al Ahly Tripoli stood atop Africa. Not just champions, but conquerors. White Jr. hoists the trophy as gold confetti rains. Petro players watch solemnly. Locker room emotions. Inside Al Ahly locker room, water splashing, laughter, players dance to Arabic rap. Mizian hugged by assistant coaches. In the privacy of celebration, the masks came off. The boys became brothers. The team became eternal. Agada quietly FaceTimes family. White Jr. writes Libya on his game ball. Legacy sealed. Tripoli street celebrations, fireworks in Libya, social media clips exploding with pride. They didn't just win the BAL final. They gave a nation a reason to believe. A reason to cheer. A moment that can never be erased. Absolutely. Here's the expanded script for 12:30 to 14:30, post-game interviews plus expert breakdown for your 2025 BAL final documentary, focusing on raw post-game reactions and a powerful analysis of what this historic victory means for Libya, basketball, and African sport. This wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration. Libya had arrived. Fabian White Jr. interview, courtside. White Jr., drenched in sweat, holding the MVP trophy, breathless but glowing. Fabian, you dominated on both ends tonight. What does this mean to you? White Jr., emotional. Man, they counted us out. But we knew. We knew. This was for Libya. This was for every single guy who put in work when no one was watching. Caleb Agada reaction. Agada with a towel over his head, fighting back tears. We've been grinding. For months. Years. Nobody gave us a shot, but look at us. This isn't just for Al Ahly. This is for every African kid who dreams of moments like this. Agada's steel and fast break as his voice overlays. Coach Amer Miziane speaks. Miziane calmly standing by the locker room tunnel, surrounded by media. Coach Miziane. This was more than basketball. This was mental. This was spiritual. These men earned everything. Libya earned this. Expert 1. BAL commentator. Statistically, Al Ahly outmatched Petro in every category tonight: rebounds, assists, hustle plays. But it was the emotional edge that made the difference. Expert 2. Former player. Absolutely. Petro had the pedigree. Al Ahly had the hunger. And you can't coach hunger. That's what wins you championships. Graphic slides. Al Ahly, 46 REB versus Petro, 33. A turnovers forced, 14. A bench points, 28. What this means for Libya. For a country rebuilding, rediscovering, and reclaiming its place in the world. This win was more than sport. It was symbol. Kids playing street ball under a Libyan flag. A woman crying while watching on TV. Al Ahly didn't just lift a trophy. They lifted a nation's spirit. They proved that no matter your past, greatness is still within reach. Closing reflections. In a world of favorites, sometimes the story belongs to the hungry. They weren't the tallest, they weren't the flashiest, but they believed. And in believing, they rewrote destiny. BAL 2025, written in the dust, etched in glory. BAL 2025 was more than a game. It was a legacy born in Pretoria. A moment where Africa saw not just champions but dreamers, doers, and believers. Coach of Al Ahly kneels alone at center court, whispers something, touches the hardwood, then stands up and walks into the tunnel, his shadow long behind him. In a world of favorites, sometimes the story belongs to the hungry. BAL 2025 was more than a game. It was a legacy born in Pretoria.